Hey shy people, what is your worst experience? My outgoing mother announcing to everyone how shy I am. Putting a year's worth of confidence into a job interview. Just to be the quiet one after you get the job. The anxiety dude. Had a high school buddy who was sworn to silence to most people, even teachers. Yet a select few kids he'd talk to. Funniest guy I've ever met. Said he's gone full years without saying a word to his own teachers. Went to a party. Guy I've never met walks up to me. Shakes my hand. And says, "Hello. What's your name? Where were you born? Where will you die? What's in between?" Not letting go of my hand the whole time. I completely locked up. Had no idea what to say. Sat at the back of the class in Spanish. When the teacher from the front asks a question. Being the little nerd I was in school, my hand shot up. The teacher then looked over. Pointed directly at me and said, "See, señorita." I was a very feminine, underdeveloped and late through puberty 15-year-old boy with longer than usual hair. I stopped answering any teacher's questions willingly from that point. I am a bit shy when first meeting people, so after getting to know me, I often hear, "When I first met you, I thought you were such a bitch." Cool. As a kid, my shyness was crippling. I got locked in the toilet in school. Started yelling, crying, and the teacher had to remove the lock to get me out. The whole class was standing behind him, looking at me. In my high school Spanish class, some kid screamed, "Do you ever talk?" at me in front of the entire class. Super embarrassing at the time, but hilarious to look back on. Edit. For those curious, I said nothing in response. If only I could go back in time. Mandatory speech class when I was a freshman in college. I'd do the thing, then go back to my dorm and throw up. Really freaked out my roommate, who I barely spoke to. 5 speeches that semester. It was a nightmare. I was in elementary and took a bus home each day. I missed my stop and I was so terribly shy and quiet the bus driver didn't hear me. He went on to pick up high school students and didn't notice I was still on the bus. The high school students were so sweet and kind. They alerted the bus driver and he took me home. My mom was freaking out by the time I got home. Okay everyone, before we begin, why don't we go around the room and tell us a little about yourselves? Going to a crowded party with one friend who really wanted to drag you along but then disappears. When you talk and people say things like, "Oh, I didn't know you could talk," or, "This is the first time I hear you talking." My by far worst experience was living together with a roommate. I wasn't able to talk to them and I thought they hate me. My shy buddy hated ordering coffee at the Starbucks in the Barnes & Noble bookstore. They cannot accept your order and take your money. They had about 6 questions they have to ask first. She couldn't stand it. Her. "I'd like a medium coffee." Them. "Do you want light roast or dark roast?" "We don't have medium. We have tall." "Okay. Do you need space for cream?" "What's your name? Are you part of the bookstore club? Are you part of the Starbucks points?" I'm not sure if I'm remembering it right, but I think at least once she panicked and walked away mid-interrogation. Starts college 2, doesn't make friends till lockdown 2, shit's fucked. Graduating basic training and having to walk across the stage. Stop at the mic. Execute a left face turn. State my name in the mic with a short pause between first and last name as a cue for the next row of guys to walk up. I completely fucked it up in front of everyone. Went to shake my drill sergeant's hand as a formality of the ceremony and he whispered to me, "Way to fuck that up in front of everyone. Dipshit. Fuck off back to your seat." I fucking hate public speaking. Best man speech in front of 100+ people. I knew it was coming almost a full year in advance and agonized over it for basically that entire year leading up to it. I recited it at least 1,000 times in my head. It was sheer terror when I went up to do it. That said, in the end, somehow, I actually did pretty well with it. I received a lot of compliments and they seemed genuine, so the experience itself wasn't the worst. Maybe just the time leading up to it. Someone took my order from the shelf at the online order station at Chipotle and I waited 45 minutes after the time it was supposed to be done before saying anything because I didn't want to be rude. Not the literal worst thing to happen to me, but it is what stopped me from going to Chipotle. Having a group of people sing, "Happy Birthday to you." My husband got me to go to a party with him at our friend's house. Got there. Friend hugged me, "Hello. And then said, "Wow, you smell really good," and then I swear to God everyone got up and went. I want to smell, and I was surrounded by people sniffing me seconds after walking into a party. I wanted to die. It wasn't even perfume or anything, it was my hair oil. If I could afford therapy, this would definitely come up. I hate video calls. I was going to drive 1.5 hours to my college to talk to a professor in person instead of just video calling to follow up on something. Entering a new place for the first time. Be it a shop or a bar or a restaurant. I'm always play the gentleman and hold the door open for my partner so she can assess the area before I sheepishly shuffle in behind. I started high school after having been cooped up at home for 6 months recovering from spine surgery for scoliosis. I was really unsocialized when I started school that September. And had to force myself to do things that involved talking to people I didn't know. I'd set little daily goals for myself until I got used to it again. It was painful. I imagine much of the world will feel this way when isolation ends though. Having to explain our project in a seminar when the one who had to do the task didn't turn up. Was really shaking in the process. Worst one was probably when someone said, "Why don't you talk?" and I just shrugged, but they didn't get the joke and actually thought I was mute. I was having coffee with a friend one day. We had just been to the gym, so I thought I was looking pretty disheveled. But maybe not, because a guy came up to us and slid me a piece of paper with his number on it. He said he had seen me while driving by and thought I was beautiful and just had to stop and say hello. I was so caught off guard. And just naturally awkward around strangers period. That the only thing I could blurt out was, "If you think I'm cute now, you should see me when I've bathed." He walked away. My friend laughed. I was embarrassed for days. I'm not shy, but I'm one of those only talk when necessary types. I tell new people that I'm not shy and I am a low energy person, so I'm always this mellow. There is nothing wrong with not having the energy of a 10-yo who drank 3 Red Bulls. People do seem to take things I say more seriously than others. People are different in that. Worst experiences are probably the people that talk about you right next to you. Assuming you don't have a backbone. I went to this summer camp at a history museum around 4th grade. The second day they sprung on us that we would have to create a short play about a notable figure of our choice. I'm already terrified and I make it worse by choosing to do mine on Kai Lun, the dude who invented paper. The play ended up being a 30-second monologue that was basically a condensed biography with me wearing these musty silk robes. After I slunk back to my seat, I realized that everyone else did like actual plays with dialogue and plots and stuff. So embarrassing. I fucking hate the first day of every class the teacher does the stupid, "Let's do the icebreaker and go around the class and have everyone say a fun fact about yourself." God, I fucking hate that shit. Whenever I have to talk up front at school. But I actually speak loud enough. I just don't like looking at the people. I'm a really shy person. Not so much online. And definitely not shy with my friends.